A new little channel here that people have been recommending me to watch that I've never actually seen before. I have never seen their content before. Casual Geographic. It seemed like a very interesting channel. I'm pretty excited to look into it. And if you've seen this before, feel free to tell me down below. But before we get into this, I would highly appreciate if you could take a second just to like this video and also sub to the channel if you enjoy these reacts. If you want to come and yap with us live, you're free to come by my Twitch channel on twitch.tv/Adley. We really appreciate it and I'd love to have you here. There's a link in the description, but regardless, now let's get into the video. I'm pretty excited to see this. I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know what he's gonna do, chat. I don't know what he does. All I see is animals.
Nani?
Slick back.
That's what I said. Slick back.
No,
Slick back.
You see this nest? You want to know what built this nest? You don't want to know what built
I
this
did.
nest. You want to know what made these bones?
I
You
did.
don't want to know what made these.
It was him. It's me. Holy shit, this is a gorilla.
This bird's a buckbeak coated me to my mental stability. The Harpy eagle's a homicidal hippogriff with the jungle census on its hit list. And
What?
a big reason is
I have never seen this bird in my life.
Harpies having the largest claws of any bird. Not only do they have vice grip talons that could comfortably dap up a grizzly bear's paws, they say getting gripped by them is like getting caught in a Rottweiler's jaws. They're the national bird of Panama, but you finna be pantomiming once this Jurassic reject takes your breath. By crushing your windpipe. But by far the most out-of-pocket thing is what nature went ahead and did with their wings. Unlike most birds its size, Harpy eagles have relatively short wings. I'm talking about if eagles were the NBA, this would be their build. But the short wings just means this life unsubscription service can duck and weave through the dense jungle to catch a body. Which also means there are very few things.
Dude, they look really evil though. Like, look at that. That bird doesn't look like it fucks around. That bird looks wild.
Alive in the Amazon that a hunting harpy can't pack up, from monkeys and sloths to armadillos, snakes, and porcupines to other predators like ocelots and foxes. They'll also body other birds like parrots, and they'll
How
even murder
big
other
is this
raptors
bird?
like vultures. But then, what even is a raptor? The answer might just surprise you. Raptors are what most people might call birds of prey, which is already a problem because there's plenty of other birds that'll have you prey.
Isn't it crazy you have birds like that flying around? Then you have like a chicken and a cock in the world. Like, the difference in danger is insane.
So the raptor title gets gatekept to the birds with all three. A sharp hooked beak, a Jurassic style
But eat
pedicure,
those
and
two.
talons,
Listen, the humans are the worst animal out of all of them. They'll get anybody.
and an OP sense of sight. So without a hooked beak but webbed feet, the demonic garbage chute misses the cut. Chronic crash out the Canada Goose doesn't sit at the raptor lunch table, because if it did, it probably would have seen that coming. But the whole raptor thing's a pain in the prostate, and it's because
What a
raptors,
nerf.
they're basically cats that can fly. You remember the cat video I made and how insanely convoluted the names got? Like how a black panther isn't actually an animal, a cat called a panther isn't actually a panther, a snow leopard is genetically closer to a tiger, and how a cougar pushing 220 ain't a big cat, but a cat barely a $110 is. Raptors are low-key the same, where the name Raptor doesn't describe a family or union, but like Black Panther, Raptor is more like a description. But I'm gonna get to that. Now, the other problem with raptors is that nature basically bamboozled them. Of course, the ability to fly is broken, but it comes with hollow bones. Now, hollow bones aren't to keep the bird light enough for flight. It's more that pneumatic bones are filled with air and so give extra oxygen to fuel their flight. But it also means a broken bone is a career-ending injury for an avian, and as hunters, they run the risk of getting folded by their own prey. The compromise is, raptors have some of the most heinously creative ways of confiscating consciousness, revoking your existence. Whatever you want to call it, the bird of prey hunting strat is straight out of the pages of a mob boss's.
Did that bird just take a stick and throw it at him? Like, yeah, shut the fuck, get the fuck out of here. Look at this
your
bird, man.
existence. Whatever you want to call it, the bird of prey
Get
hunting
the
strat
fuck
is straight
out
out
of
of the pages of a mob boss's torture guide. And we can start with the secretary bird, aka Jurassic Park and yoga pants, named after the fact that, like a secretary, they'll connect you
You're
to the
in
big
my
boss
lane
upstairs
now.
if you give them the chance. They cancel prey by kicking them in the head until they flatline or just lie
Oh
flat.
my
Their usual
God.
targets are snakes. The combo
That's a
delivering
snake? He threw a snake?
multiple kicks in the time it takes to blink, and how disrespectfully accurate they are, all adds up to a
That's
6-piece serpent
crazy.
assault where they spam a river dance on a snake's skull until it caves in, leaving the snake out of order like a reptile dysfunction. You gotta hand it to them. That's pretty metal. Actually, you should do the opposite, since the Kung Fu crane can apparently shatter the bones in a human hand. And it's not just snakes. Secretaries will go after things like cheetah cubs and baby gazelle. I think now is a good time to mention they can be an honest 4 feet tall, with a thigh gap no less. As you can see,
4
they're liable
feet
to
tall.
violate snakes and beauty standards, all while being one of the few birds with 2 pairs of wings, no Red Bull. This high-stepping battery charges with all the smoke, literally, because they'll gather around brush fires just for the opportunity to
That is a very unique looking bird, though.
Don't let the pretty privilege distract you. It's an African assassin chicken and thigh boost dressed like a recently divorced mother of 3. And they're not the only ones, because I'll be honest, I low-key forgot this bird existed. This is a Serama. It's basically a Latin secretary bird, but the real family tree flexes they're the only living relatives of terror
Why
birds.
does it blink
Yes,
opposite way?
Those terror birds. They might be less vertically gifted at less than 2 feet tall, but instead of kicking, Seriamas rather body slam their prey to death.
Dude, she looks like she has lipstick on. What a beautiful bird.
Rather body slam their prey to death. The dinosaur time forgot will grab prey and slam them into the ground or against a rock repeatedly.
What a
they'll
smart
spam
bird.
suplex as many times as it takes for the bones to break. And if you're too big for all that, they'll use the same sickle claw their prehistoric cousins used to hold down prey and disembowel it alive. So if you
Smart.
get targeted by a Seriama, you'll
You don't
either
fuck
get
around
the
with it
Hope to Loki treatment,
now.
except from a travel-sized terror turkey, eviscerated and violated
is
while bitten by a
crazy.
weaponized toenail, or just swallowed clean like a vorophile's wet dream. So far, we have a curb-stomping aggro bird and a mob boss build and terror bird final form. And we're just getting started. This is a kite, and before you ask, this was named after the bird, not the other way around. A kite is like the forgotten little brother of eagles and hawks, and like a kite, they catch bodies by hovering above the ground and waiting for movement so they can swoop down and snatch it. I believe kiting is the expression. They're pretty cool. They grief many of the insects that make life slightly less worth living. The 17-year cicada parade is basically their Super Bowl. Like the secretary bird, they too will gather around grass fires, and any animal trying to run from the smoke gets ironically cooked. But Australian black kites take it a step felony by carrying burning twigs and dropping them on patches of grass. An act of avian arson that got them another name, Firehawks. Apparently this is nothing new, with
That's
records
cool.
of them stealing brands from indigenous cooking fires and dropping them half a mile away. There have even been scientific records of them dropping bread into water to bait small fish, and if it wasn't for this clip, I probably wouldn't believe it. You'd think an aerial arsonist airdropping
Look at him, he got that bitch.
I
Boom.
probably wouldn't believe it. You'd think an aerial arsonist airdropping
That's
Inferno
that's
in a country
insane.
that has up to
Wow.
60,000 wildfires a year would immediately get blacklisted. But no, black kites are protected because once again, of course a felon with wings is above the law. They're also banned in Boston, but only because we all know Boston can't stand the heat. Now I have a whole video on owls, so I'm not going to talk too much about them. But this is the start of what I was talking about, because you'd normally expect a raptor to be related to other raptors. Instead, the owl's closest relative looks like a Muppet flashlight. Flashlight? What does that? Oh!
What the?
I can't say that. Owls are predators on incognito, thanks to feathers that allow them to fly almost completely silently. Again, you don't realize how unsettling that is till you go to bed a family and wake up a single mother. They also have a satellite dish for a face and uneven ears, so even under a foot of snow, they can hear exactly
I
where
love
you're
the
about
way
to go.
owls
Owls
look.
are 100% the closest thing to cryptids with wings, and while they haven't murked people,
They're so cool
allegedly,
looking.
there's
I
plenty
think
of
they're
predators
cute
that
as
do
hell.
feed
Look
on
at that
unsuspecting
thing. Look at that
humans,
little guy.
just like you,
Look at that little
including
guy.
arguably the worst predator of all. Data brokers. There's a lot of data brokers that feed themselves by collecting your personal information and selling it to the highest bidder.
Is this
and it's
an
deeper than
ad?
selling your browser history to companies wanting to know what to sell you back. Some insurance companies will team up with brokers and actually raise your rates based on what you put out
What a
online.
smooth
Cyber
ad.
criminals can steal personal info like your social security from a broker. And if you've ever gotten one of those robocalls, I think you know who slid them your number. Yeah, the owls don't seem so bad now. Now you can email takedown requests to these sites with your info, but 1, there's just way too many and you will get overwhelmed. 2, I don't have a real job and I don't have time for that, so I know you don't. But 3, even if you run the gauntlet, in a week it won't matter because it'll probably be back up there. You're up against a predator that plots incognito. So it's only right that you defend yourself with Incognito, because Incognito will scan the recesses of the internet for your personals and submit takedowns on your behalf. And if a company pushes back and refuses, because honestly, why wouldn't they? Incognito won't let up, and they'll keep checking to make sure you don't get put back in the system.
This
and
is a good
assuming you survive
service.
the aneurysm of finding out just how many
That's
people
a
have your
great
information,
service.
You can rest easy knowing Incognito
long as
basically
there's
puts you on a
it
whitelist
works.
against predatory brokers. The number of victims of data breaches has gone up over 40% in the
1.2
last few years.
billion.
If you don't want to be a statistic, make sure you go to incognito.com/casualgeo and
That's
use
a
the
lot
code
of people.
CasualGeo for 60%
God, y'all gotta
off
be
an annual
careful with
plan
your
to guard
number.
private data.
Don't put that
Believe me,
number
if you
random
knew some of the
places.
places your info is right now, your head would spin. Kind of like, wait for it.
Oh,
Yeah, there it is. That's what it looks like to get folded by a falcon. You
Holy,
Falcons are
that was
cool, but they're
fast.
weaker than eagles and hawks, so instead they commit
I didn't
to the
even
fastest
see that.
runs on Earth. Literally. the fastest. So falcons like the peregrine will start up high and dive, that's called the stoop, and once the flying derecho hits triple-digit miles per hour, they'll ball up their feet like a fist. So yeah, they really do falcon punch their prey in the past tense. Didn't even give them time to duck. Not only that, but falcons also have a toenail tooth made specifically to snap spinal cords and send prey to the Lord like Sunday service, all while flying. The one-shot specialist has been known to snipe bald and golden eagles threatening their nest. And there was one time a snowy owl murked a falcon fledgling, so the mother falcon went and life-deprived the owl. There's a lot of ways falcons are built for speed, but the biggest flex is that they have the fastest processing speed of any animal alive. Compared to us, they see the world in slow motion. Falcons are dope, but because of them we have to address the whole raptor thing again. Because instead of hawks, eagles, or any other bird of prey, the missile with wings is most related to parrots. So
I
again,
think birds
raptors
are
the family
so
name, most of
cute.
them
I think they're so adorable. They look so silly. I think all birds look so silly. They're so cute with their eyes. I don't know. I can't.
related. But there are a lot
I
of
cannot look at a bird and think it's threatening. I look at this thing and it looks so cute and goofy. I love it.
falcons, like the American kestrel. I like them because they're pretty. Small. The colorway ain't bad either. They also factory reset prey by stabbing them in the back of the head with that tooth, but you can't deny this psychopath's cute. The black-thighed falconet is the smallest bird of prey in the weight class of a sparrow, yet they also find a way to pack up other birds. The pygmy falcon is a nest pirate that often shacks up in the homes of weaver birds. Normally it's a good gig with the pygmies clearing out snakes and lizards, but sometimes they'll switch up and kill their weaver bird roommates, so there's that. But there's another falcon that might just be the biggest bird off of all, and it might also be the most underrated. Next to that is the Caracara. The Caracara is a black Air Force parrot. Unlike every other falcon, they'd rather handle business on the ground. They live on honey badger timing, since they'll pull up to a carcass and bully bigger vultures out the way. The crescent Caracara is a special kind of klepto. They'll straight up mob other birds like pelicans and press them into vomiting their lunch so they can have it. Striated Caracaras and the Falcons are a Pennywise level threat to minor safety. You know Raptor comes from the Latin word to seize or take by force. That's what this avian amber alert lives by. Caracaras will also link up with each other and form gangs and have honest-to-God turf wars. Even back in the day, they were on Darwin's radar. In 1830, he mentioned how curious they were, but also how annoying it was to live around a bird that'll steal anything that isn't nailed down. Turns out this affiliated delinquent of a bird is low-key the gifted
These
student
birds
of
are assholes. This is some asshole behavior. These birds are bitches. Holy fuck.
affiliated delinquent of a bird is low-key the gifted student of the Raptor class and is even smart enough to solve puzzles for fun. Basically, Caracaras are if the peregrine falcon and the secretary bird had a baby, but it was adopted and raised by crows and tutored by the key on defense. Just an overall underrated menace of a dinosaur, but also a hyper-intelligent, talented opportunist. Actually, I take that back. Vultures might be the most underrated. People assume something with the feeding habits of a casket is a pushover, and they do get their cookies taken by other raptors.
Get the fuck
but
out of
vultures
there.
very much can be about that life too, especially since black vultures often won't
Oh god.
wait for an animal to expire. They'll put weak, sick, or young animals on a shirt. Some farmers know all too well. Sometimes they'll wait for a cow to give birth just to jump the newborn and return to sender. Sometimes they won't even wait and they'll move on a cow in labor and act like the world's most malicious midwives. Getting violated by vultures means eyes gouged out, tongue torn off, and they'll even break through the back door. Basically the booty warrior of birds, but unlike boondocks, this one's protected by law. From a surgical psychopath to a scavenger. Yet a bearded vulture eats almost nothing but bones, and they've even been known to swallow ones nearly a foot long. But once in a while they'll go after the living, sometimes in the form of airdropping a tortoise hundreds of feet
I wonder how like their intestines are if they eat bones.
to feed on the insides like a piñata. You know, mountain climbers were so spiritually disturbed
I didn't know there was an animal out there that consumed only bones. That's an interest. I've never heard that before. Oh,
by the beardy. They called it the bird of
what
Satan.
the? Look
To
at
be
that
fair,
thing just suck it up.
they
Oh
have a square
god.
ring around their eyes that fills with blood when stressed and makes their eyes
Ain't
turn
that the
bloodshot
long
when
way?
they
Oh
fade.
my
The bearded
god.
is working with the whole showering gun activated. I don't blame him. That is demonic character design. Also, a bearded vulture allegedly murked a man with a turtle shell to the head like Mario Kart, which sounds fake, but keep in mind, there's a woman walking around with scars from breaking a porcupine's fall. RNG can be a real ad. All that, and you still can't show me a bird with
What a pretty bird.
Harpy eagle's aura. We already mentioned the life-canceling claws that could probably crush your skull, which is why Harpy eagles have a prey list of over 116 species. And that includes putting other raptors like Seramas and vultures on shirts. Don't think for one second nature came out with this and stopped there. The African crowned eagle is basically the harpy of the motherland. Same survival revoking claws, and
That
same
looks like a
short wings to
badass.
make it a menace to
That's a
monkeykind.
badass
They're the
bird.
only raptor to allegedly see people as prey, with reports of human child remains in nests and the infamous tongue child believed to have been packed up by an African crown. Honestly, any continent outside of penguin land has at least one of these eagles. Australian wedgetails go after kangaroos and dingoes, and their territorial enough to fade $1,000 drone on sight. There was one time a wedgie fought a helicopter and won, past tensing a pilot in the process. RIP. The North American golden eagle has a hit list of prey in the 400s. But really their claim to fame is how they'll give goats a first-class flight to the gulag with no return trip. I'm sorry, this is so disrespectful.
Bro,
Look at
that's
this
so
animation.
horrific,
He
man.
gave him an NPC death, gave him nothing but time to
Bro,
reflect.
that is
There's the Filipino eagle,
insane.
which honestly mogs the out of everyone for no reason. But there might not be a bigger flex than the stellar sea eagle. You know, if this wasn't on camera,
That's a big
nobody would
bird.
ever believe you. It's one of the heaviest eagles on Earth with an 8-foot wingspan. It's an oppressive force and featherface that's apparently been seen carting off seals. Clearly
That's
the
a
meteor told them to take
big-ass
a sick
bird.
day, because dog, you're not telling me that's not a dinosaur. And low-key, they might go the same way. For all the harpy hate I was talking, there's no recorded case of a harpy eagle killing or even attacking a human. In fact, it's them not being afraid of humans that can get them put on a shirt by poachers. Add habitat destruction, and
What
if
a
raptors like them
beautiful
aren't
bird.
endangered, they're at
This
least in
bird looks like a griffin in a fantasy movie. This actually looks, this bird literally looks like a big griffin in a fantasy movie. What a beautiful bird. Holy, so majestic.
danger of being endangered, which is why you got places like the Raptor Trust in Millington,
Wow.
New Jersey, looking after all kinds of birds.
Dude, I don't know, like that bird, I want to see that one in real life. That's insane how this one looks. Look how fluffy and big.
New
Damn.
Jersey, looking after
Pretty.
all kinds
It's
of
very
birds, from Molly
pretty.
the kestrel to Virgil the turkey vulture. They got
Oh,
couples
God.
too, like Mariah and Thor the golden eagles. They're mad cute together. And of course, a symbol of America, Colonel and Uno. Uno because of the whole one wing thing. And even though they're technically not raptors, I even met Ray the Raven. You know what's crazy? He's in a cage, and he's in a relationship with another wild raven. Like, he'll even sneak food between the bars of his cage for her. You know what's crazier? His girl has a whole nother family in the wild. I usually don't rock with homewreckers, but I'm rocking with Ray. But like I said, my favorites were definitely the owls, especially this barred owl named
I
Sunny.
like owls,
I think
they're
he liked
cute.
me. Although the vultures gotta be a close second, since they'll literally walk up and follow you around like a puppy. Oh, this isn't sponsored, by the way. I just had a good time and wanted to shout them out. So if you're ever in the area, the Raptor Trust in Millington, New Jersey, 100% recommended.
New
But that's gonna do it for this
Jersey,
video.
okay.
Drink water, hug your mother, get that. Shout out to Incogni for sponsoring this video. Shout out to the Pigeon
Is
Paralysis
it
Demon
over?
for sponsoring
W
Imagination.
fucking
And I'ma
video
see
chat.
y'all in the next one.
Thank you for recommending me it. W video, that was so good. I enjoyed that a lot, chat. That was so good. That was I felt like that was very informative and at the same time super super fun. Very interesting. I like that. I like the little Mario music in the video. I like it. I heard the Mario sound effects. W fucking video. I love that. I love that. If you're watching this on YouTube, tell me down below. What do you think? Which bird is your favorite? I told you. I appreciate it. Thank you. It was a good video. It was a good video. Tell me which bird is your favorite. I want to hear. I want to hear. Which one in the video did you like the most? If you take a second also to like this video, I highly appreciate that. That would mean a lot. That would mean a lot. Also, sub to the channel if you enjoy these reactions. If you want to yap with us live and watch this live with us, feel free to come by my Twitch channel on twitch.tv/Adler. We'd love to have you here. There's a link in the description, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Bye-bye.